It is Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. This is another playoff edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Looking for a refreshing citrusy kick? Go grab yourself a Mountain Dew Baja Blast style. That dude's a blast. My man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer, along for the ride as well. First of all, I got to say, your getup is awesome. It's part like Gary Templeton, Ozzie Smith with the old Padres logo, and part Chipper Jones with the mock turtleneck.
I think those are all compliments, so I'll take it. This is my coaching outfit. I've had just a hell of a day today. I've been all over the place. I was going to stay home for my practice today because I have to watch these games, but I'm different, Chris. I'm just built different. I brought my phone. I brought a chair and put my phone on, had my headphones in. I was throwing bad in practice to my guys. And I said, I'm not going to, you know what? Like, which one's more important? I don't really know. They're both really important to me, so I did both of them. I'm still in my outfit. I cleaned out my garage today. We got a dumpster here. I've been throwing a bunch of stuff away. I've been going hard, and now I'm doing this show, and I love every second of it.
Excellent. Couple of really interesting games to break down and get to momentarily, but we start with a little tip of the cap, and the Phillies certainly doing it right in the pregame. 15 years ago on Monday, the late, great Hall of Famer Roy Halladay threw a playoff no-hitter against the Cincinnati Reds. Well, his two now grown sons, Ryan and Braden, threw out the first pitch, and it was to none other than his old catcher, Chooch. And I got to tell you, man, I saw that, and it just brought back all the emotions. You know, we lost this guy 8 years ago, which is kind of hard to believe. But to see his kids who are now grown, including one guy who looks like he could be in the band 38 Special from when I was growing up, and then Chooch going up and getting it. By the way, people forget, Chooch made a great play to save the no-hitter. There was a little, like, bouncer right in front of the plate, and the bat was right next to the ball.
I remember
he picks
that.
it up, fired it. So it was kind of a cool moment, I thought, watching that on Monday night.
Can we go back to what kind of glove was he wearing there? Was that a knuckleball glove?
Oh, I don't know.
That was right. Stop it. That's not a regular catcher's glove, is it?
I don't know. You tell me. Look at you. You always find the most interesting thing. It looks a little knuckleballish. It was interesting.
He's probably like, give me the biggest one you got, guys.
In the meantime, the Phillies, they've got some serious work to do. They are down 2-0 in a best-of-5 series against the defending World Series champs. There was a drama-filled ninth inning that ended with some serious scoopage from a former MVP.
Turner to second base. Tommy Edman. Low throw. Freddie Freeman with the scoop. And the ball game is over. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I was just trying to do anything I could to catch it. Those are one of the hardest ones, those in-between ones, the short one or the long one, and that one's right in between. And, I went through it, and thankfully it stayed in my glove.
That was a great little interview with Lauren Shahadi at TBS, who, of course, did a great job on the game. Did you think that was getting past him?
I was just like, in shock. It happened so fast. You're like, it was as routine as a ground ball gets. And then all of a sudden you see it in the dirt, and Freddie's sure-handed over there. But I told Jake this, the number one thing I tell my kids is always expect a bad throw. And it just keeps you on your toes right there. And Freddie he went down and got that thing. Like when we look back at this whole postseason, we're probably not going to remember that play, but like I want people to remember like Freddie Freeman. That's a huge play. Knowing what's going on with the Dodgers bullpen, I know Roki was in there at that time. It would have been first and third at the minimum. Could have been second and third. Trey might have went to second on that. I loved it. It was scary, but good for Freddie.
Yeah, he was telling Lauren Shahadi how it was kind of in between. It's not the hop that is long distance or the short hop. It's the one in between, and that's the one that can give you the most trouble as a first baseman. It was part of a wild ninth inning, right? Dodgers were leading 4-1. They brought out Blake Trinan. They have to go to Vesia. They have to eventually go to Roki. We had the wheel play as well after Castellanos hit the double to make it 4-3. Bryson Stott is trying to move him, and Max Muncy makes the play. Mookie is covering third. You don't see it a ton. It's a great job by both Muncy and Betts, and the third baseman gives us the whole genesis of how this play went down.
Wheel play is not something that we traditionally do, but as soon as we got in that situation, me, Mook, and Tommy immediately started talking about, hey, we got to try something different here. We can't just play standard bunt play. And when Doc came out and made the pitching change, we talked to him about it, and he was all on board. And I'm going to credit Mook. It was his idea. We got to go. He was saying we got to go wheel play. We got to go wheel play. And so we talked about how we were going to do it, and we got executed it to perfection.
Dave Roberts added that we don't even practice this. We haven't practiced it like since spring training. And for them to pull it off in a huge playoff game like this, it's pretty awesome.
It was perfectly executed because Freddie was crashing on the first base side. You got Max crashing on the third base side. And, you would say, okay, well, second baseman's going to first base, shortstop's going to third base. That leaves second base wide open. But Freddie, as soon as he saw the bunt go to third base, he makes a beeline for second base. They had everything covered right there. My thought on that, there's so many, this play in particular, there's so many things to break down, but he is right. We used to practice multiple bunt plays in spring training. I think they've just canned it because you practice them in spring training and then you never practice them again. And you just call the one play, which is just getting out at first base. But guys know how to run this play, just from years of playing baseball, but to execute it, in a huge stage like this and do it perfectly was pretty awesome. On the Phillies side of it, which I think we should get into, number one, the Harrison Bader injury had a ripple effect here where you can't run for Nick Castellanos, which is just as soon as he hits that double, he should have been pinch ran for, but you can't because you're going to pinch hit Harrison Bader and you got to have a pinch run for him. And it's a mess. Yep. It's a freaking mess. And I don't know how they fix it because Harrison Bader is one of their best hitters right now. And he got the job done when he got called upon. He got a knock, but he can't run right now. So like, if I'm Rob Thompson, I might say, sorry, dude, we got to keep you. We got to get you off the roster.
God almighty.
I know that you can't come back to the World Series, but how can you? I'm not gonna say that lost them the game today because I didn't, but like that was a huge play.
Yeah, they would have had,
and they wouldn't have been able to run the wheel play,
right?
with a speedster. And I guess I don't know who would they bring in. Would it be a Weston Wilson?
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what Topper said afterwards.
He's not super fast either.
In my mind. No, but Castellanos at least is.
He's always been this like very slow.
Yeah, very, very slow. And it looked like he didn't get a great secondary lead on top of that. Now, Topper did give Mookie Betts a ton of credit. He said because he didn't break until late.
He said, yeah, that's what he said. But if you go back and look at the video, he broke pretty early. Like he was gone, dude. He's so far in front of him.
Then maybe he's just trying to protect Stott on that because he also added that when that happens and guys break quickly, we teach our guys to pull the bat back and do a slash play because the middle of the field is so open.
That is, he probably should have. At the very least, if you're not going to slash, just pull the bunt back and say, let's reset this and let me take a swing at it then.
Right. That's the other thing is that there are some people that said, hey, listen, Vesia, as crafty as he is, he's not like this overpowering, dominant left-hander. Why don't you just give Stott a chance to swing away?
I didn't think they were bunting there, and then they did. Because you just got to roll one over. Lefties are very, very good at that.
Right. Interesting. Now it gets us to the Dodgers side of the whole decision, right? It's 4-1, so it's a lead, but in that ballpark, in that city, on the road against that lineup, 3 runs. It's not 8 runs, 3 runs. So you bring in Blake Trinan, who had a couple of scoreless outings so far in the postseason. He didn't get any outs. Then they have to bring Vesia in. Roki wasn't even up at the beginning of the inning. He was just like the rest of us, just sitting there watching like this. He just had his warm-up jacket on. He's like, okay, boys, I guess go get him. And so Dave Roberts was asked in the postgame, did you consider using Roki at the beginning of the 9th?
I thought about it. He hasn't gone 2 out of 3 much at all. Just figuring the run right there. Blake's pitched some of the biggest innings in the postseason for us, and felt really confident right there.
Okay, so what he's saying is he hadn't gone 2 or 3, meaning Roki had not worked 2 out of 3 days. He pitched on Saturday, he would have pitched Monday again. Well, guess what he ended up doing? Pitching 2 out of 3 days. So what is going on here? Who can't some people say, well, it was only 2 pitches, but you didn't know that at the time when you put him in. It could have been way more than 2 pitches.
I think there's a couple different ways to think about it. I don't mind him in his mind saying we got a 3-run lead and we can't just rely on starter to Sasaki. Like we got to have some other guys back there.
Why?
But I think we've seen enough. Well, agreed. In this game, I'm going straight to Sasaki for a couple different reasons. But I'm just trying to like put myself in his mind, what he's thinking. It doesn't make sense to me, but to him, that's what he's thinking is I got to like see if Blake Trinan can just flip a switch here and maybe we get him in this high leverage spot and he becomes the guy that we've come to know in years past. Didn't work out that way. My thought process on the whole situation is Roki Sasaki is not a reliever. He's not. He's turned into one out of necessity. So give him as many clean innings as possible. And you had a chance to do it with a 3-run lead, which is a lot less pressure than the situation that you put him in when he comes in to face Trey Turner, who is the batting champ. It's a 1-run lead, and he's coming into the game in a not clean situation. So like maybe you had the right intentions if you're Dave Roberts, but it was the wrong decision. It was.
Right. I understand the thought process, which is, hey, listen, if we're going to end up getting past this series and we still have 8 more W's to go get, we're going to need Blake Trinan. Or at the very least, we're going to need somebody else to take some of the pressure off. Emmett Sheehan came in, did a remarkable job. Okay. Earlier in the playoffs, we saw him. Wasn't so great. Here, 2 really good innings. He did give up a run, but that's fine. You know, when you have a 4-0 lead and you give up a run, we can live with that. We got you to the 9th. He got you exactly where you wanted to be. Dave, before the game, was reluctant to call Roki Sasaki his closer. And I don't know exactly why that is. He said, well, I'm not going to call him a closer because what if we want to use him in the 7th or 8th? Well, everybody uses their closer in the middle of the game now. It doesn't matter. It just means that because of the way this game played out, that he would have been your closer. And the whole goal is to get 3 wins before they get 3 wins. So if you can get 2 on the road and then go back home and have Yamamoto pitch game 3, that's what I'm doing. I don't give a shit about the rest of the stuff. He hasn't pitched twice in 3. Doesn't matter. Put on your big boy pants. This is the time. You have turned a corner. You're it, dude. And I don't know what Dave was thinking. It could have backfired so significantly, but it didn't.
Everyone in society today is, for the most part, so careful with their words because they're like, well, they're just going to twist them. And then it's like going to be a social media thing. It's like, dude, they're just words. Closer doesn't mean he has to close games out. What we mean by closer is that's my dog for a high leverage situation. And if we could get him with a 3-run lead in the 9th, he's going to be the guy. Like that's all it is. But he doesn't want, it's just, I see that. I saw that a ton with Rocco Baldelli when he did his scrums. It's like he was so careful to not say like the wrong thing, but it was like it's so insignificant that it turns out I'm like, dude, oh my gosh, like let's just say what you mean. Same thing there.
I hear you. If you were to do a power rankings of players in the Dodgers bullpen available right now, you would not have Blake Trinan ranked higher than Roki Sasaki.
No, and it's sad because we have seen Blake Trinan be so freaking good.
I know,
he's just not there right now.
He's not, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, it happens. It happens to the best of them, and he's had an outstanding career. I'm not saying he's done, but he's not as good as Roki Sasaki, and he's not as dependable right now. So when Dave said, Blake's gotten a lot of big outs for us over the years does not matter. What matters is 2025.
Can I be honest with you?
What matters is today. Huh?
Can I be honest with you?
Please.
I think I would be one of the managers that had too much faith in like my guys.
You would pull like a Terry Francona. He's famous for that.
Yeah, you always say that about him. I feel like I'd be the same way.
You would be, you would have to find your Brian Shaw. That's what you would have to do.
Gosh. And
Yeah.
then some idiot will be on a show and he'd be talking about me.
Oh yeah, there's part of me that hopes you do kind of get the Twins job. I love doing the show with you, but there's a little bit of me that wants to
I
take
am not in
the
the running for any managerial job. I don't want to be in the
You
running for
sure?
any managerial job.
Hey,
I would like to get paid that much, but
hey,
I like being home more.
Colorado's available.
The GM job.
Just saying. Let's move to the Phillies side of this. If at the beginning of the series you said that the Phillies would be 0-2 heading back to Los Angeles, and you walked in that clubhouse and said that's what's going to happen, you probably would have gotten your ass kicked, is my guess. Here's Bryce Harper on where we go from here.
Came up short right there. Obviously, got to do a better job with guys on base, and I had a couple opportunities as well myself, and didn't get it done. And earlier in the game, so just got to be better, and got our work cut out for us going into LA, out west. So, like I said the other day, got to flush this one and get the next one.
All right, so Turner, Schwarber, Harper combined 2 for 22, no extra base hits, 1 rib. I mean, I listened to Schwarber afterward as well. He's like, listen, it's not like we're trying extra hard. It's just it's not working. And you don't have time in a short set like this to go cold, but it's exactly what's happened.
It's happened all too frequently for them over the last couple of years in the playoffs. I think that's the problem here. And I mean, like Bryce said, he had a shot. I think it was the bottom of the 6th there before the Dodgers scored a bunch of runs. He came up with 2 people on, 1 out, ends up striking out. And part of me is like, dude, it was Blake Snell, and he was nasty. So you just got to tip your cap. But nobody in Philadelphia wants to hear that. They want their guy to be their guy. They want Bryce to hit the big homer. Like, didn't he do that against San Diego? That one a couple years ago.
He took Bobby Suarez deal.
Yeah. They want that. He didn't give him that.
Here's the problem. It's not the problem. It's the reality of the sport. In no other sport do you go through cold stretches in a regular season and make a deep run in the playoffs. It so rarely happens. And let me explain this way. The NFL is like 17 one-game seasons. If Josh Allen goes cold for 6 games or 5 games, the Bills are not making the playoffs. It's just that's how it's going to end up working. In the NBA, the best players in the league, Jokic doesn't stink for 20 games a year. He might stink for 2, but he's not terrible a quarter of the year. In baseball, you can stink for like 4 or 5 weeks, different weeks throughout the year, but it happens. And your team can still be great, and you can put up a remarkable year just because of the way the percentages work in your sport and how we declare a great player being successful 3.5 out of 10 times, reaching pace. And so when you have 2 terrible performances against a great pitching staff like the Dodgers, starters out of the gate, they're all striking out 9 guys a game. Man, that's a tough way to make a living, but there's no other way to judge them, I guess.
It is an interesting athletic endeavor because your athleticism means nothing a lot of the time as a hitter. You can't out-athlete an at-bat. You can't just say, oh, I'm a better athlete. Like if you're a receiver and you're a better athlete than a DB, you can just make a better athletic move and you're going to get open. And I think the same thing is true on a basketball court. Put the ball in my hands, I can out-athlete this guy. And sometimes you match up against guys that are on your same level. I understand that. But when you're in the box, you just don't have any control. You can't out-athlete an at-bat. So you're going to go through times where, man, it is a guy that struggled a lot in his career. It is so frustrating. And you want to give the best answer that you can, but nothing you say matters. Nothing you say matters, especially in Philadelphia. All they want is for you to do your job. And it's a sport, and a spot in this sport where, you're going to get out more than you get hits.
By a lot.
By a lot. It's so frustrating. I can just see it in all of their eyes, and
Yeah.
they know they're great players, and they know they have a great team, and they're just sometimes it just doesn't happen,
It's
and that's just
incredible.
not a good enough answer to give, but it's the right answer.
I know. Let's give a lot of credit to the Dodgers starting rotation. So they've gone Snell, Yamamoto, Shohei, Snell as their starters in their 4 games so far, and they have yet to lose. Snell, 7 innings, 2 runs, 9 Ks. Yamamoto, 6 2/3, no earned, 9 Ks. Shohei, 3 earned in 6 innings, 9 Ks. Snell, awesome again, 6 innings, did walk 4, 9 Ks, 1 hit allowed. This year where we're seeing guys getting pulled early in the 4th, 3rd, one starter went 2/3 of an inning. Man, oh man, Dodgers have played this perfectly, and
They
I
look
don't know.
they look good, and I think I saw a Pedro Martinez tweet about how they're like a cobra. You just never know when you're going to get bit. Kind of love that analogy for them
Good.
because
That
it's
way,
up and
Pedro.
down the lineup, and it's coming. You know the Dodgers are going to have a crooked number somewhere, and you just gotta try to match that. And when they're throwing a guy like Blake Snell, who you text me, how do you hit his slider? And I have no idea.
No, you're like, asshole. Why you asking
Yeah,
me?
what? I never faced him. But yeah, I mean there's a reason we called this roster, and it doesn't look that way anymore necessarily. We called it one of the best rosters ever constructed. We
No,
said
but
that. A lot
hey,
of people said that.
right now they're 4-0 in the playoffs, so
They are.
let's
They
reserve
haven't got.
judgment.
Well, I say that because the bullpen doesn't look as good as we thought it was going to look.
No, that's true. That's true.
Other than that, I mean, we're seeing it all come together for the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's looked good. So it'll be Nola against Yamamoto in Game 3. We'll have much more coming up on the next show here on Baseball Today. All right, today's episode sponsored by Indeed. Just realized your business needed to hire somebody yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. You just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. So stop struggling to get your job posts seen on other job sites. Indeed sponsored jobs help you stand out and hire fast. With sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates so you can reach the people you want faster. In fact, according to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. No need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. Baseball Today listeners, you get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/baseball. Just go to Indeed.com/baseball right now. Support this show by saying you heard about Indeed on this very podcast. Indeed.com/baseball. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. All right. Just like the Dodgers, the Brewers now 1 win away from clinching a spot in the NLCS. You know, Milwaukee, it's just a 90-mile drive or so from the Windy City, but it certainly feels like there is a huge, huge gap between these two teams right now.
Got him! Uribe strikes out the side in the ninth, and the Brewers have a stranglehold in this series.
People are wondering, how does this team have the best record in baseball? How does this team, and nobody predicted they'd be over 500, and then we have all the injuries. Certainly nobody was banking on us. But how did that happen? It's the group of people in the room. It's the group of people in the room that know how to wash it off. They know how to bounce back. They know how to have a bad series and understand the importance of the next pitch. And that relentless kind of behavior is, a separator.
That way, Murph. It's a pretty good description. There's a lot of people that even baseball fans, who probably watched the first 2 games of this series, and they're like, who the hell's that? And, dude, should I just offer my apologies right now to the Brewers?
Sure, why?
Because I just didn't believe in them. I didn't believe in them at the beginning of the year. I didn't think they were making the playoffs. Then once they started to roll and the Cubs had a lead, I was like, well, the Cubs are going to hang on. And then the Cubs fell back a little bit, and Milwaukee took the lead. I was like, but the Cubs are coming back. And now they don't even belong on the same field.
No, not right now. They don't. And I guess I'll start with the Brewers. Couple things. I believe in the organization, so I am a believer every single year in them to exceed the expectations of the outside world because they have found a formula that works. They have prioritized run prevention, but also taking the extra base. I think this team can beat you in so many different ways, and I think we throw that term around a little bit too much throughout baseball. This team actually is one of those teams where they can run the bases well, and they'll take the extra base. They can play small ball. We've seen that all throughout the year, and now their slug woke up in today's game. If that comes, which we know, for some reason, home runs do come in bunches. Like it just is like a contagious type thing. If that's going to be if they're going to have any inkling of that, they're going to just have a smidge of the power bug. Look out for this team, man, because we know they're going to pitch. It seems like Murph really knows what buttons to push with the bullpen right now. They're a formidable team. And if you go back to the first series of the year, do you remember what happened to the Brewers?
Oh, my God. Didn't they give up like 87 runs against the Yankees?
It was the torpedo bats, and they were going to be banned.
Right.
And we even had, I think we had a few guys on the Brewers saying, we got to ban these things. Who was that? That was somebody on the Brewers.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
How far has that team come? And torpedo bats, obviously, nobody cares about anymore. But I just think that because they can beat you in so many different ways, that they're always going to be in a series, and they're always going to be in games. Like there's it's not going to happen very often where they're going to get boat raced. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. By the way, they lost their fourth game of the year. So they lost 4-2 to the Yankees, 20-9, 12-3. And then they lost the home opener against Kansas City 11-1. We were like, oh my God, this team.
Yeah, it was bad.
And it's quite the opposite. So a bunch of things to go over.
Okay.
Number one is that, yes, they hit 3 huge home runs, and Vaughn is the one that kind of set this game back because Suzuki hits the 3-run homer in the top of the inning off of Ashby, and the Cubs all of a sudden are feeling good about themselves. Brewers put a couple guys on, 2 down against Shota, who's been prone to the home run ball. If they get out of that inning, it's 3-0. Craig Counsell he was harping on this. He's like, I feel like it's a different game if we're able to wiggle out of that. But to Vaughn's credit, he didn't let that happen. And I thought it was like I was ready to call for a fair catch as high as Vaughn hit that ball. That's really what I thought. But it changed the entire complexion of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I looked it up, 39-degree launch angle. Just very high, beautiful swing, 3-2 pitch, little cut piece in, slider, whatever the heck that was. And Shota, he struck out 2 guys to start the inning, 2 out base knocks, and then all of a sudden Vaughn comes. And this is another example of the Brewers organization. I mean, where would they be without this guy?
Listen, this was lucky. I really honestly believe
that you could say that, but they went down and they revamped a few things in his swing.
That part is accurate. But there's not one team that would have looked at him. He was the worst player in baseball, according to WAR, when the White Sox are like, we've had enough. We got to send him down. There's no way.
But the Brewers are always looking for those guys. They know they have to operate like that. This guy's got 7th overall draft. Like he has a pedigree.
I think he was third,
whatever the heck he was. Went to Cal. Like he fits that mold perfectly.
Yes,
for them.
So
it's a win-win. If he stinks, so what?
Right. Absolutely.
And he didn't stink. He was
minimal risk.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he saved it. When Rhys Hoskins went down, Rhys Hoskins couldn't get his job back because of Andrew Vaughn. Jackson Chourio.
Yeah.
We both said on Monday's show, we didn't think that they'd play him. We were like, you can't do it. He's 21. Hamstring, let it rest. They're going to have another day off after game 2. We'll see you in Chicago, game 3, and we'll test it out then. Well, not only that, he turned around Palencia on an 0-2 101-mile-an-hour heater and hit it to right center. This kid is a freaking freak.
He is. And all the signs are actually pointed to him playing. We just didn't really understand it. We talked about the inconclusive MRI. We talked about the fact that he didn't grab his leg when he went past first base. But in my mind, if you come out of a game, like, you must have felt something, and I wanted to err on the side of caution. Thank goodness they didn't. And I told Jake this. There was a one ball when Mizorowski was in. It was a fly ball down the left field line. He ran a long way to get it, had to put on the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me was like, he's good. Let like training wheels off, go. Like, he feels good.
Listen, the dude's already got.
He's also 21, Chris. You can't even. I don't think you can get hurt at 21. You just bounce back like Wolverine.
Dude, I think I was pulling muscles at 21 when I was rolling over in bed. That's how out of shape I was.
There's no way. A 21-year-old Chris Rose was a problem. I remember a little spiky-haired young Chris Rose.
Okay, I didn't get spiky hair till I got on Best Damn.
Okay, what was your hair like at 21?
College-ish. It was. I had a little
Long?
mullet. I had a little mullet working at times.
No way.
Oh yeah, I'll bring an old picture. Yeah,
I need to see it. I need to see a college Chris Rose. I do.
yeah. It wasn't that sexy. It really wasn't. I just want to give some numbers and put some perspective on this kid's name in the playoffs. This was his 5th playoff game. He's got 3 homers, which in the long storied history of the Milwaukee Brewers is now tied for 3rd. Only Prince Fielder and Orlando Arcia have more.
Playoff homers?
Yes. In terms of RBIs, he's got 9. Only Ryan Braun and Cecil Cooper have more. He's played 5 playoff games. Now, this year, we didn't really pay much attention to him. His numbers were virtually identical to his rookie year. Virtually identical. And he missed 31 games, I think, because of injuries. So we expected him maybe to take a little bit of a leap forward, and he just kind of stayed stagnant, which is okay. He's 21. But, man, this kid craves a spotlight. He's friggin' awesome. I remember earlier this year we said, who is a kind of below-the-radar MVP candidate, and he was my choice. And he wasn't close to it. He's not going to get any MVP votes, but he might get some postseason MVP votes.
Who would be right now? Here's a Chris Rose question for you. Who would be the MVP of this series so far?
Of this series?
Yeah.
Probably Churio.
I'm trying to think if there's a pitcher that needs to be involved. I don't think there is because they've all just kind of.
Yeah, they used 7 pitchers on Monday night.
Yeah.
But why don't we get to him? The Miz. This Miz. Not the Miz that I did American Gladiators with. This Miz. We didn't know how they were going to use him coming into this series. He came out throwing serious cheese, over 104. 31 of his pitches in this 3-inning outing exceeded 100 miles an hour. He was amped up, particularly this play where he...
That was hilarious right here.
Look at him. Look at him. Do you like this role for him coming out of the bullpen?
I'd prefer him to be a starter. I think he's got the stuff. Right now, this seems very suitable for him. Yeah. I mean, anytime, I guess maybe I'm on an island here, but I think we've said this, though, together. We love when a starter goes into the bullpen for the playoffs. It just does something to me. So I like this role for him. Obviously, he has the arm talent to just let it eat. We saw 104 miles an hour from him. So right now, I like it. I do not want him to transition into like some sort of Andrew Miller type reliever.
No, not full time.
I want him to be a starter.
Yeah, but for this playoff run,
yes,
I think it's ideal. I think it's perfect.
Well, I don't think they can go back now. I don't think you can start him and expect him to go 7 right now. So this is his role.
Who's going 7? Other than the Dodgers pitchers, who goes 7? Garrett Crochet, Tarek Skubal.
You know what I mean.
But nobody else is going 7. It just doesn't happen. Cam Schlittler, I guess he goes 7. By the way, kudos to these young guns, right? Look at what we've seen in the last 6 days of baseball. Schlittler, Yasevich, Mizorowski now. It's
Churio?
Great stuff. Huh?
Churio?
Well, yeah, but he's not a pitcher. But I'm talking about the pitching side of things.
You meant young guns.
Yeah, guys that can really throw it. Did you see the William Contreras homer reaction?
Yes.
Did you think we put it out on John Boy Media that maybe he was mocking Craig Counsell's call to the bullpen? Remember earlier this year when there was a home run hit and Counsell ended up running right to the bullpen phone before the ball even went over the wall? Did you see that? Do we have that, Danny? I think I sent that. Do we have that?
I don't. Oh, that is not what I thought you were going to bring up. I don't know what the heck he's doing there.
The call where he's like,
He's
"Hey,"
hanging up on him like it's over.
no, he remember when Counsell. I thought I sent you that clip, Dan. I guess I didn't. Yeah, that's all right. If we don't get to it, we don't get to it. But where Counsell was against the Brewers, home runs hit, he turns and grabs the phone like right away before the ball even leaves the yard. You don't remember that?
You got to
We'll try and
refresh my
find it.
memory, man.
That's all right. We'll try and find it.
Okay.
That's okay. Should have communicated better with Dan. That's on me. That's on me. Cubs. I have a feeling we're going to be doing their baseball obituary very soon. I don't even want to get to the Counsell stuff, but I just want to put this out here. They've scored 12 runs in 5 playoff games. Their starters, and I include Shota, game 2 starter, I think, in the wild card where he didn't start the game. It was Kittredge, but then he came in and gave him bulk innings. So 15 2/3 from their starters in 5 games. These are some miserable numbers.
It's been bad offensively. It's been bad starters. There's not a lot of life in the team right now. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of fight in them either. And you know, I guess you got to give credit to the Brewers because each time, let's see, we got this up right here. Why would he care about that?
Why would he?
Yeah. Why would he mock that?
Because he's his former manager?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe there is a backstory, but I can't put 2 and 2 together here.
I'm going to tell you this. Unlike the Phillies, who have to now fly cross country and think all this stuff, the Cubs are going to be sleeping in their own bed.
It's true.
On Monday night. But it's going to feel like about a 16-hour minor league bus ride based on how they've played.
But think about this. I say they have no fight. I say all these things. I'm putting them down. I'm kicking a guy when he's down right now.
Yes.
But I think it's because, look, how have both these games started? Michael Busch, homer, boom.
Mm-hmm.
And then right back the next inning, the Brewers answer.
Yeah.
Seiya Suzuki, a 3 spot. What happens? A 3 spot for the Brewers. Like they have shut down any momentum that the Cubs have had to start games, and they haven't given it back whatsoever because their bullpen has been so damn good. So it's almost like, how are you supposed to have any dog in you? These guys have taken it all away.
You're right. I mean, let's give the Brewers all the credit in the world. As I mentioned, I think the season's going to be over very soon for the Chicago Cubs, but we'll see. Wednesday, they're back at the friendly confines. Jamison Tyone against Quinn Priester, who we thought might pitch in Monday's game. He did not. All right, let's shift on over to the American League, where the Blue Jays can actually be the first team to advance to the LCS. They have scored 23 runs in picking up a 2-0 lead over the New York Yankees, as the series now officially shifts to the Boogie Down.
Even during the regular season, same thing. 0 for 4, you got to wake up and do it again the next day. So it's always a continuous battle, and you just got to continue waking up and giving your best shot. It's a tough task. Toronto's obviously a very good baseball team, and I think for myself, the confidence in the locker room that we have over here is, it's a strong bond, and we've had such a fun time playing together, so we don't want this ride to end.
That, of course, is Cody Bellinger, the New York Yankees. Now, New York was here just 6 days ago at home against the Boston Red Sox. They had to win back-to-back elimination games, which they did. How much is that going to help them? The fact they just went through it?
Well, number one, being back at home in front of your home crowd is going to be, I think, a good thing, as long as Rodon has a clean first inning. But yeah, that obviously helps them. Facing elimination already, those are some nerves that you can't just replicate in any sort of practice or even during the regular season. So the fact they've had those reps already with that back against the wall, I think it'll help them. This one's obviously a little different because they got to win 3 in a row. But the mentality is, take it one day at a time. We got our guy Rodon. We trust in him. He's supposed to be a stopper for us. So you rely on that and try to just do anything you can to make it to the next day.
Yeah, listen, it helps that Rodon pitched game 2 against the Boston Red Sox. Got him through the first inning clean. Ben Rice clicks Bayo for the 2-run homer. A few pitches later, Bayo's out of the game. So, yeah, all that will help. Here's the thing, man. You can't pitch to Vladdy. You really can't. Do you know he's 10 for 17 lifetime against Carlos Rodon? 10 for 17. And he's got a career 1 daughter at Yankee Stadium. We make a big story every time because it's the Yankees and I'll never play for them. And I get fired up for all that stuff. He's totally dodged all that stuff in the media recently, certainly this year. But facts are, I don't know if he gets a superpower when he walks into that stadium and faces pinstripes or whatever it is. Man, you can't pitch to him.
That would be a plan of mine. If I was playing against the Blue Jays right now and I'm the Yankees, I would say, let's make somebody else beat us, which they have guys up and down the lineup that can, but surely that's one guy that you want to stay away from as best you can.
Are you surprised that Toronto has swung the bats this well?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't surprised. I mean, this particularly well. I know they have a lineup that can score runs. And they can score runs in bunches. And, having Vladdy doing what he's doing obviously helps. He hadn't hit a homer in a month before the playoffs started. So him finding the power stroke is huge for that lineup. But they're a team like the Brewers that can score in different ways as well. They grind out at bats. They don't strike out. Which, puts pressure on a defense. I think they were second in the big leagues. We talked about that on yesterday's show. So for them to be able to do a little bit of both, like I mentioned with the Brewers, like good quality at bats and then find the long ball as well. I mean, that's the recipe.
So the pitching matchup, we talked about Carlos Rodon gets the ball for the New York Yankees. It'll be Shane Bieber for the Toronto Blue Jays, who, of course, came over in a midseason trade from Cleveland. It'll be his first playoff start since the 2022 season.
Anticipating a ton of energy, both positive and negative. And for me, thankfully I've done it before. But really, for me, I think I put myself in the best position to succeed when I just embrace it.
By the way, Bieber with that mustache, he looks like he's doing the off-Broadway edition of Ted Lasso.
I like that. I don't think it suits him. He's too pretty for that.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. Austin Hedges really likes it. I talked to him about it. He was like, I dig it.
Austin Hedges likes a porn stash.
Yeah.
Like he wants to wear chaps with no underwear. Like he is.
Yeah.
Isn't
that
really
what you're
wants
supposed
to
do with chaps? No undies? I don't know.
People always say that all chaps are assless.
I think they are.
Yeah.
I don't have chaps. Get myself some ass-filled chaps.
I think those are pants then. Right? I don't know. We're out of my league right now.
Which start are you more interested in watching more closely here in Game 3, Rodon or Bieber?
Well, I think Rodon has to be a dog. I mean, you're getting paid like an ace, $27.8 million. I got it up right here in front of me. But I'm more interested in Bieber because I'm just fascinated by the trade and how well it's worked out for them.
Mm-hmm.
I was not a believer in that trade when it happened, but he's been great. So I want to see what he does. And up 2-0, like what's Schneider's plan? Like what kind of leash does Bieber have? Because I think I know what kind of leash Rodon has. It's very, very short.
Right.
It's a must-win game. So for the Blue Jays, that's the formula is a little bit different there. They'd like to see him go 6 and then go to Louis, Anthony, and Hoffman. Like that's what they want to do. I think he'll have a little bit more leeway to get out of some jams, or maybe not. Maybe Schneider's like, let's go do it right now, no matter what. Let's just pedal to the metal and keep going. I'm curious though.
obviously, for me, it's Shane Bieber because I didn't get to watch like a full one of his starts, and he only made seven of them after the trade because he was still a little banged up and working his way back through pitching rehab in order to get back to the major league level. Here's the good thing for the Blue Jays: he went at least 5 innings in all 7 of those starts. Here's the other thing: only more than 6 Ks just one time. Now, New York has seen him in a playoff setting a couple of times. 2020 season when he won the Cy Young in the shortened season, they really took it to him in Cleveland, really took it to him. And then in 2022, he pitched pretty well against New York in a game that Cleveland won in the divisional round. This could be a totally different Shane Bieber. I mean, he is a surgically repaired elbow now. So I'm fascinated to see how he maneuvers and navigates and thinks his way through pitching in that ballpark against a power-laden lineup like New York. I'll set the over-under on his outing at 4 2/3.
I will take the over. I think it's through 5. Aaron Judge, 0 for 7 lifetime in the regular season. That's
Regular.
the stat I'm looking at does not include the postseason.
Yeah, he took him. He crushed
We
him.
know Dan's in our ears telling us. I know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Dan is I've never heard of a producer / Yankee fan so excited to be down 0-2. So good luck with that, Dan. Good luck. I'm sure we'll be talking about it on the next show. Based on hundreds of millions of real-world tests, the experts at Ookla Speed Test have spoken. T-Mobile, now the best mobile network in America, so you can keep up with all the MLB postseason action from the ballpark to the back country. Why? Because T-Mobile now has the most advanced 5G, the most towers, and a signal that goes farther than ever. So whether you're streaming the game out and about, you're checking stats on the road, or experiencing ballpark perks with Magenta status, you are ready to stay connected wherever your fandom takes you. So simply head on over to T-Mobile.com/network to switch to the best network going. You'll enjoy the baseball and life a little bit more. Tigers and Mariners, they move from the Pacific Northwest now to the Midwest for Game 3. Series tied at 1 after the team split a pair of 3-2 games for Detroit and their manager, A.J. Hinch. It's just nice to be home.
It's nice to be home because we had to earn it. You know, it took a lot to get back home. You know, it took some wins on the road at the end of the season. It took a series win in Cleveland and then the first 2 games here or in Seattle. So I think our guys will enjoy being back in Detroit. You know, put on the English D, the white unis. Our crowd should be electric, and we're playing for, you know, potentially the series.
Now, do you like it that Detroit has pretty much been in playoff mode now for the last 2 weeks and it will continue that here in Game 3? Or do you think at some point it just becomes too much emotionally?
No, I like it because the more you do it, the less emotional you get in those situations. So I think it's definitely a benefit. We kind of talk about that all the time about wild card teams and those teams that are fighting to get in. You know, eventually your heart rate starts to slow down in those big moments because you just get used to them. It's like, you make your debut and everything's crazy, and then you realize, oh, it's just baseball. I know that never really happens in the postseason to that extent, but if you have those games over and over and over, number one, you get to practice what happens in those games, which is everything being magnified. I think that is something that you can't really ever practice unless you're in them. So I think it's a benefit.
They will have been 16 days between home games for them. The last home game they played was, remember when they got swept at home by the Atlanta Braves, which kind of started their tumble?
Yeah.
Because then they went to Cleveland, to Boston, back to Cleveland, to Seattle, and now they're finally home. It's been quite a whirlwind for them, and I imagine kind of physically and emotionally exhausting. They've done a really, really good job here. One guy I want you to keep your eye on now that they're back home is a guy that's done a couple of really good things in big wins in Cleveland and Seattle, and that's Zach McKinstry.
Yeah.
I was like, who really is happiest that they're home? And it's McKinstry. His OPS there is 991 at Comerica. It's almost 450 points better than when he is on the road. Out of all the regulars, he has the highest home OPS, batting average, the most steals. That little dude is fourth on their team in Comerica hit home runs and third in RBIs. So do not be shocked, particularly with a lack of lefties, and we've talked about that with the roster construction for Seattle, that this guy ends up getting some big swings in that big old ballpark and utilizing that athleticism. I just wouldn't be surprised.
I wonder what it is for him at that park. It's not an easy place to hit.
Yeah.
But
Isn't that
he just
shocking?
sees the ball well. Just there's something about the angle or he's, looking at the ball that helps him out.
So when he eventually gets enshrined in Cooperstown, we're like, yeah, but he played most of his career at Comerica. Look at the
it helped
split.
him so much.
Yeah. What are we doing here? Jack Flaherty going for Detroit, your buddy. Logan Gilbert, he gets his second career playoff start. For which team is it more important that the starter goes deep?
I don't think it's really important for either of the teams that the starter goes deep. And I don't even think they really are counting on that to happen. I mean, both these teams, look, they're coming off an off day. They've already had to have a game where they emptied their pen, and both pens did extremely well. I think there's a bunch of guys each team trusts. Like, I think if you look at the bullpens for the Tigers and the Mariners, they're like 5 deep with guys that they trust. So I don't think they have to go, either of them has to go super deep. If Flaherty matches whatever Gilbert does, I think that's all that matters. Like, that's what they're hoping for. Like, just match what he does. Unless he has a really poor outing, then you don't want that. But if 5 would be plenty for both of these guys, I think.
Yeah, well, he looked great in that game 3, the elimination game
Yes, he
in
did.
Cleveland. He really threw the ball well. So I went back and I wanted to see how much Detroit has been using their relievers down the stretch, and that started with that regular season road trip through Cleveland and then Boston and then back to Cleveland and now Seattle. They've played 11 games if you tally that whole thing up over a 2-week span. Finnegan has thrown in 7 of the 11, Holton 6, Herter 6, Vest 6. Those are the game's leaders, which it's not terrible. With as many of those games that were super important, you expect to see your best arms in there. So it's bad, but it's not terrible. But I'm going to actually answer this with the Mariners. I think they need some length out of Gilbert a little bit. I'm worried from this standpoint. The Tigers have already seen Munoz, Spire, Brash, and Bizzardo twice in 2 games. Those are some of their big arms right there. We've talked about it. The more these guys will see him, and we saw it in the series against Cleveland, right? Hunter Gaddis pitched 3 games, and in that last game, he couldn't get anybody out. They saw Cade Smith in all 3 games. And in game 2, they made him throw 31 pitches. So that could have a real significance here. Like, maybe you can't use everybody here in game 3. It's all
Agreed.
dictated by game flow, though.
Agreed. Yeah, I understand that point. And Skubal, had the good outing in game 2. So Finnegan, they've seen him a couple times now, but that's really been it. But I just think they have these guys they have a good deep pens right now. So I don't think it's super important that both these guys throw like 7.
One last thing before we get out of here. Did you see Mark Wegner, the second base umpire in the Phillies-Dodgers game where he's making the call? And here it is. You can see this from the base cam where he pulls his hamstring. Yow! He had a worse reaction than Jackson Churio did.
That's what I'm saying. See, every time you pull someone, that's the first reaction is to grab it. So that's how I knew he was hurt. I feel bad for him, but just, he was in that good power stance, really punched him out right there.
Do you remember who was it? There was an umpire a bunch of years ago who made a safe call at home plate, and he got down kind of in a crouching position to make the call, and he either cramped or pulled a hamstring.
Was that Laz?
No, it was not. I don't think it was Laz. I want to say it was at Citi Field. I don't exactly remember. There's no way.
I remember, and this is bad, Don Baylor catching the first pitch and his knee just
yeah, that was horrible.
Gosh.
That was a bad one.
I think about that more often than I should.
Yeah, you probably do. You haven't reached this age and you're not out of shape. Just remember this because it's going to happen to you at some point. You might be like 87 when it does. When you start cramping overnight and you get a cramp in your calf and you have to have Olivia grab your foot and stretch you. Like, Michelle thought I was having a heart attack. She's like, what's the matter? I was like, cramp. It's not good. It's not good.
I mean, I have had cramps. Don't like them, but I also, I
likes
guess I don't look forward to that. I hope that doesn't happen to me, but I do not look forward to that.
It's going to. Hey, Slashline is the new way to shop your favorite gear from John Boy Media's store. It's the same JM merch team, same awesome designs, just a better website. It's a better experience and a cooler name for our store as well. Slashline. It's all about showing off your favorite team, your favorite player, your favorite moment, loud and proud. So click the link in the description to shop now. We've got great merch, gear. My son Brady's been working with the team throughout the summer and now into the fall, helping design some shirts and stuff. So go grab those as well. Let's go get them. I know he did a Mizorowski one, I think. So Brewers fans, you can go shop that. Go check it out. We've got good stuff rolling through there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, actually.
Okay. Who wins game 3? Tigers, Mariners.
I have no idea, and I like it, Chris.
Tigers win. Who wins game 3? Yankees, Jays.
I'm giving the Yankees this one, even though I don't really believe in it either.
Okay. If that's the case, then we are going to have 4 games to go over for Wednesday, and that will be freaking awesome.
Me and you are going to the Dodger game, aren't we?
I don't think so. Thanks for asking, though. Why? Do we have Stafford seats?
Oh, those are good seats.
And
I think he was saying he might go.
There's no way he's going on a Wednesday. No, sir.
No, they're going to Baltimore, I think, and then to London.
Yes, they're going right from Baltimore to London. So he will not be going to the Dodger game. But if you get those tickets, let me know. Okay. You'll be taking Jimmy Clausen. So who am I? I mean, come on.
No, I'd take you, Chris.
It's okay. I understand where I sit in the pecking order. Way.
Well, you know what? You might be even further back because Joe Ryan is back in town. So.
Oh, that's just painful.
You're so far back.
For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Wednesday here on Baseball Today, presented to you by Mountain Dew Baja Blast.